A lot of you have been waiting patiently for me to launch my site beyondtheguitar.com since September, with my promise to teach you how to create your own classical and fingerstyle guitar arrangements. I'm gonna spare you the excuses for why it's now January and you haven't heard anything more about it. But basically I've decided to start small. So starting today, in addition to all my normal music videos, those aren't going anywhere, but I'm gonna start introducing weekly instructional videos where I teach and discuss arranging, classical and fingerstyle guitar technique, practice habits, and more. On that note, I wanna know how to help you best for future videos, so leave a comment below telling me your #1 biggest frustration or struggle with the guitar currently. All that being said, my website is now live with my first free video training covering a concept that's so foundational to the arranging process and to guitar playing in general, but more on that later in this video. Today we're gonna be talking about why every guitarist should be making their own arrangements, and I'm gonna break that down into 3 main reasons. Now, if you don't know exactly what I mean when I say arrangements, every music video on this channel is an example of a guitar arrangement. I use the term guitar cover because that's the terminology that people recognize, but that's not really accurate. A cover is when an artist plays a song composed by another artist note for note without changing anything. But as soon as you change something, whether that's just the instrument that it's being played on, the harmony, the melody, then it becomes an arrangement. So for example, when I take a song that was originally composed for orchestra and condense it all down to be played on one guitar, that is an arrangement. The first reason why you should be creating your own guitar arrangements is that it gives you an opportunity to be creative without starting from scratch. One of the things that I felt was missing from my university studies in classical guitar was an outlet to be truly creative in my guitar playing. I spent most of my time learning and performing other people's compositions note for note, and you can be creative in your interpretation of how you choose to perform a piece, but there are limits and you're not really creating anything new. Composing my own music seemed like an obvious option at the time for being creative, but composition was super intimidating to me. It felt like I was just staring at a massive blank canvas with no idea how to begin. And if you can relate to that, then arranging is a perfect middle ground, because with arranging, you're not starting from scratch because you're dealing with notes that have already been composed and structured into melodies and harmonies, but you get to be creative in how you choose to restructure them for the guitar, and you have the freedom to throw in your own personality and style. I always compare the arranging process to putting together a puzzle. The pieces are all there, you just have to figure out the best way to fit them together on your instrument. Reason #2 in my crusade to convince you to create guitar arrangements is that it gives you a deeper understanding of music theory that's catered directly to your personal tastes. Let me show you something. When studying music theory, we used to go through and analyze entire Brahms and Beethoven symphonies. Shout out to Dr. Vlašević, my music theory professor back in college. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry, I haven't looked at these in years. You can learn a lot of music theory outside of a textbook just by directly studying the music of great composers. And you might not even realize it, but that's exactly what you're doing when you're arranging. Arranging forces you to listen to and study a piece of music more analytically than you would if you're just looking at it to play the notes. What chords are you hearing? Is there a key change? How did the composer navigate that key change? What rhythms are being used? Now, nothing against Brahms or Beethoven, but I get more excited about this when I'm studying music that I really love. So arranging music that you love lets you study what it is about that music that you really love. It could be a chord progression or a rhythm that you can't quite put your finger on but just sounds so cool. When I'm working on a Star Wars arrangement, for example, as part of the process, I have to go in and figure out specifically what that chord progression or rhythm was that John Williams used that really stuck with me. And once I figure that out, I get to then catalog that in my mind in this library that I'm building of sounds that I love that I can then draw from to use in future arrangements or compositions. This is where you start to create your own personality and style in your music by first studying the music of composers that you admire. The third and final reason you should be making and performing your own arrangements is that it's one of the quickest ways to build an engaged audience. And this one's really simple. People just love hearing music that they recognize and that they already have an emotional connection with. This is why so many people start off their careers as arrangers or cover artists and then later branch off into composing their own music. Playing music that people already know is what gets their attention. Then putting your own creativity and style into your arrangements is what gets those people invested in you personally as a musician. I'm not saying you need to give up on playing music that you love just to become a glorified jukebox for other people's requests. For example, I've built my channel around music that I genuinely love. Soundtracks from movies, video games, TV, and a lot of that is music that people recognize, that they have that emotional connection and history with. So ideally, you want to find that same sweet spot for yourself. Even if your goal isn't to build an audience, being able to play an arrangement of a song that's meaningful to your friends or your family or even just yourself is such a beautiful thing. When I play a song I've arranged from a movie that really impacted somebody or a video game that just sends a wave of nostalgia over them, and I can see that what I played really touched them, it makes it all worth it. That's why I play music. Now, whether you've already made some of your own arrangements or never even considered it until this video, I want to be your resource and teacher and guide in this rich tradition of music making, which is why I put together a free training called Fretboard Freedom, where I teach you how to find and play chords anywhere on the fretboard. I use the concepts that I teach in this training in every single one of my arrangements. Melodies can take you up and down the fretboard, and in classical and fingerstyle guitar arrangements, you need to be able to find and play the accompanying chords wherever that melody takes you. In this training, I teach you how to do just that without having to memorize hundreds of different chord shapes. So follow the link in the description below to go to my website, beyondtheguitar.com, to get your free access to the training. I hope this was helpful and eye-opening for you. If you have any questions at all, please let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button so more people can see it, and make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on so you don't miss future videos. And thank you to all my patrons on Patreon for making this possible. I am so excited about this next chapter for the channel. But much love, and I'll see you in the next one.